Hey guys, Omni here. I'm finally ready to give you guys my thoughts on Final Fantasy VII Remake. I've spent 92 hours and 17 minutes playing this game, 100% in it completely, getting all the trophies, really spending as much time as I could with the game. I actually finished my first blind run through the storyline last Monday, which you can actually watch here on the channel. I've got about 12 parts up. You can experience it with me for the first time if you'd like. But I really had to sit and simmer on my thoughts on this game because my expectations going into it, because I didn't look into any of the spoilers, the interviews about the game. I really just watched some of the trailers and such. And my expectation going into it was that this was going to be a beat for beat remake. And I think a lot of people also expecting that if you don't reset your expectations partway through the game, you might end up a little disappointed. I've already started to see a little discontent online about it, but I'm not going to go into any specifics, any spoilers or anything like that. And I just had to kind of collect myself. That's why it's taken me this long since completing the game to really talk about it. And at the end of the day, I love it. I love this game. I have a close connection to the original game. I played it when it first came out in 1997. I fell in love with those worlds. It was really my first RPG ever that I touched. And that's one thing that I really connect to. Those characters, the world, the setting, the idea and themes that were behind that game, they really stuck with me. I even played all the supplementary games that came out after that, as well as loved both versions of Advent Children. I really like what they did with it, and even the way they expanded it from there, it really stuck with me. So, like I said, there was a lot riding on this for me, and I think they really knocked it out of the park, and they gave me something I didn't know I wanted, and I'm excited to see where it goes from here. The characterization in this game is off the charts. There's a lot of new characters, as well as a lot of characters that were there in the original game that are just way more expansive. Mainly the group of Avalanche, Jesse, Wedge, Biggs. They're fully realized characters in this game, and I cared about them in this one. I didn't give two craps about them really in the original. They barely have any lines. And in this, you get to know them. You spend time with them. You get to spend time with the people in the slums. You get to spend a lot of time with so many other characters, and the world itself feels alive. There's so many things you can learn just from passing conversations from NPCs. There's a lot of story beats that actually you can learn and hear and anticipate just from listening to the crowds around you. There's even some foreshadowing that you can learn just from NPCs. It's crazy. This world is so expansive, and that's really what I was like, how are they going to make Midgar into a full game just by itself? Because in the original, it was such a small, contained bit of the story, maybe only 1/5 of the game at that. And this is 40 hours a game. It's how long it took me to get through it. Now, there is some padding. Let me start off with some of the cons, at least, because there's not very many. There is some of these sections are very much drawn out to just kind of lengthen some of the segments, lengthen some of the chapters. There's some traversing issues. There's some things that happen to kind of just slow down the pace a little bit. And sometimes it works. Sometimes it really doesn't. There's a lot of sequences that I feel like are just there to slow you down. But for the most part, some of the slower bits actually build the story and keep you in the world and let you breathe and soak in a lot of the environments. So in some ways it is a negative, and sometimes it's a positive. It's a good piece of it because they really do build this world out, the city of Midgar and the Shinra company, how it affects everybody, the slums, everything. And there's a lot of variety to the gameplay. The combat system is well thought out, runs so smooth. They keep the strategy involved too by not having the turn-based in here. I know some people were concerned with that, but I feel like they really nailed the balance of it in a way. Some of the other games, because there's some elements in this game that you can tell were brought over from stuff like Final Fantasy 13, Final Fantasy 15, some of the ones that had some lesser issues with some of the combat systems and stuff. And I think this really refined it and really built something great. I really like what they did with the combat system in this game. It felt tense. There were situations that you really had to think around and maneuver, and it didn't hold back on you. This game was really fun. And then there's a lot of variety to the gameplay segments as well. A lot of different types of sequences that you go through, a lot of different traversal elements that they really kind of shake things up here and there. And I really got to say, they did a fantastic job on this game. And for the most part, the visuals are stunning throughout this, especially the main characters, the main cast and crew are really, really detailed. The world, the environments, everything you're looking at is always catching your eye. It's so easy to get lost in just the world of Midgar and in the slums and everything that you can just lay your eyes on. It just feels so immersive. This game really sucks you in, along with the music. The music and the sound design in this game is phenomenal. There's a lot of classic scores that are just updated and remastered, as well as some that are completely remixed. There's a lot of different tones and different like tunes that you'll recognize that have like a fun spin on it. The soundtrack in this game is humongous, and it is sometimes you just want to sit there and just listen to the music. It's gorgeous, well made. Now I will say, talking about the visuals a little bit, there are some, I play this on my PlayStation 4 Pro, not on 4K, and I would still have a lot of issues with textures loading in sometimes when I was going into certain areas, and sometimes they just never loaded. And I don't know if that was a common problem with a lot of people, but it was definitely something that I experienced a lot. It's not a huge drawback, but it's just like sometimes like when your character is standing right there next to a wall that just looks like it was like from a 10-year-old video game for a minute, it's a little distracting for a moment. Some of the NPCs, some of the lesser NPCs are not nearly as detailed as some of the others, and especially nowhere near as detailed as the main characters. Can you really expect that? No, but it is a little distracting. They're not animated that well. Some of the lip syncing isn't that great, but overall, it's just a minor complaint. This game overall, I think, nails the experience. It gives us something completely unexpected. And like I said, it might turn some people off at the end. And I think it opens the door for part 2 to be really interesting to see where they go with all of this. It's like I said, it's not beat for beat. If that's what you're expecting, hold those expectations, give this game its chance, and see what you think at the end of it. Because that's what I did. I did that, and I came on the other end really excited for what comes down the line. And I gotta say, this game is, for me, a 9 out of 10. I think the only thing holding it back is some of those texture issues and some of the padding in these sequences. I've been trying to steer away from rating a game, but this is so close to being a perfect freaking game, and I love it. I play it as much as I can. There's not really anything in it for me to do anymore, except just if I want to re-experience the story again. This was just a really well thought out game. I adore it. I'm super excited. I did not know that I was going to go into this and not really have this kind of feeling at the end of it. I wasn't sure what was going to happen with this. I'm really just seething, just foaming at the mouth for the next entry, and I don't know when that's going to be. I have no idea. It's in development right now. I don't know how world events are affecting that, when we can expect the game to come out. My rough estimate, if they're just jumping on it now, it might be 2 to 3 years before the next part comes out. We still don't have a rough guarantee on how many parts total this is going to be. So I don't know. Who knows when we'll actually finish this game and when we'll see the conclusion of this. And I really think that in the end, a lot of my feelings on this, as much as the game is so well crafted, they are taking a lot of risks with some of the changes that they've made, that I gotta say that my full judgments are going to definitely be reserved for how they stick the landing. If they do, if they don't, a lot of my thoughts will hinge on what happens in the next entry. But when talking about this as its self-contained game and what it delivers, and just the technical aspect behind the game itself, this is a full, deserving, just build experience that I just recommend, especially if you're a Final Fantasy fan. If you grew up with the original, I think this is something to check out and then gauge your own thoughts. At the end of it, I came out positive on the other end, so hopefully you guys will as well. If you've played the game, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below so we can carry on that conversation after the video. I don't know. I might do a spoiler video. Let me know if that's something you would want, because I got a lot of thoughts, a lot of theories, a lot of opinions on some of the more spoilery sections of the game and story beats. So let me know if you want that down in the comments below, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care, everybody.